And my view is we need to be focusing on the real issues of substance. Number one, in Texas, you look at these storms we had. It is outrageous that the grid could not handle the demand, the need that we had in the state of Texas, that 4 million Texans lost power. Like you, I had no power, no hot water, no heat for about 2 days. And, we spent the time, shivering around the fireplace like an awful lot of Texans. And I think there are real questions that need an examination about why the grid was not prepared to handle that.
Let me jump in and ask you a question about that, because there's a lot of discussion, and I know there's various fact checks going back and forth about this, that federal regulations somehow played a factor in this. And then everyone, of course, talks about the wind turbines and how we should have, instead of spending $20 billion for wind turbines, maybe beef up the existing infrastructure, insulate gas lines. I mean, what are your thoughts on some of these stories, and particularly the federal regulations specifically? Is any of that, is some of it true, or is it overblown, or is it much more nuanced than what we're looking at?
Look, probably all of the above, which is some of it's true, some of it's overblown, and it is certainly more nuanced than what we're looking at. And there's a little bit of a sort of political play acting going on where one side, it's all being put within the framework of the Green New Deal. So if you're on the right, it's all the fault of wind and solar. If you're on the left, wind and solar had nothing to do with it. Right. They're magically perfect, and it must be coal and natural gas. I think we need to actually have a fact-based investigation based on substance to look at, okay, what happened when this demand surged? Listen, I think a lot of Texans are furious that we're the energy capital of the world. And the fact that we couldn't keep our lights on or our heat on with some winter snow and ice, but frankly, for much of the country, it wasn't even all that bad. But the Texas energy grid collapsed. That is unacceptable. Yeah. If you look at the breakdown of the Texas energy market, I'm a big believer when it comes to energy of all of the above, that we ought to be pursuing all of the different energy sources we have. I don't think we should have government mandates. I don't think we should have government subsidies. There's no doubt the federal government mandates have played a big part in the role that wind and solar play. Take a look at wind, for example. So Texas, in any given year of our energy capacity, wind comprises about 25% of the energy capacity in Texas. Texas is the number one producer of wind energy in the entire country. We produce more than California, more than anywhere. But here's one of the problems with wind and solar in particular, which is that they have not proven to be consistent and steady and reliable. So even though it's 25% of the capacity in the summertime, wind drops to about 10 to 12% in the wintertime. And Monday night, right when this cold front and the snow and ice was hitting Texas, the wind turbines froze, and that dropped to 2% of the power output. That was an enormous challenge. Now, there were also problems with natural gas and coal. So we ought to look at all of them. And I don't think we should look at it through a political lens. We ought to look at it through a lens of how do we fix this problem so it never happens again, and so we don't see 4 million Texans left without power and without heat.
Yeah.